My name is Chris-Beth Cowie, the founder of Empowered Facts and the host of BizGrams. Each day I have the privilege of coming to you with an awesome guest. And today we have Cory, and he is the founder of Olton Consulting. And for over 2 decades, he's been working to deliver exceptional supports to entrepreneurs and people to help them with their operations, helping them implement those strategies for their business development and growth, helping with innovation. And, overall, having had a discussion with him, I see his passion for supporting businesses. So Cory, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Chris-Beth. I've been excited about this opportunity to speak with you and the audience, the viewers. So thank you.
Awesome. So tell us about your company, a little more about Olton Consulting. Is that what it is?
Basically decided to start this new chapter in my life last year. I had spent the previous 20 years working for businesses, helping them on their journeys of continued success, continued growth. And for me, kind of moving into the pandemic and that interesting time, I thought I would add another layer of challenge and complexity into the fold by starting my own entrepreneurial venture and seeing how it took. So Olton Consulting, it's basically myself focusing on working with businesses to meet business challenges rather. And a lot of it is tied to finding efficiencies, strategic planning opportunities, even creating foundations for a proper strategic planning schedule, helping businesses with organizational chart redesign, change management planning, a lot of process policy building. So really focusing with businesses on helping them get to the next stage or helping them get over hurdles.
Hey, I love it because it is so essential when you're starting a business, or even when you've already started and you're building momentum. Sometimes we only operate on plan A, right? And it's important. I see the change management plan, kind of like that plan B. I was telling folks, before COVID happened, we were planning a massive grand opening event, and we did not put in our risk assessment, COVID, pandemic, closures, right? And so not everything is able to be forecasted or seen, but it gave us the knowledge. If this didn't happen, how could we still operate? How could we still function? And I think the benefit of what you're talking about, even from that initial strategic planning perspective, building in those factors that, what are the risks? How do we mitigate that? How do we support, our team strengths or team expands? How does that affect the business? How, clients have decided their focus have changed. How do we move with them? How do we pivot? How do we adjust? And I think COVID has taught us that we need to be thinking about change. Change is inevitable. And how do we then navigate and manage those components? So very powerful in terms of what you're saying.
Thanks. And to your point, identifying risk, it's one of those things that is often overlooked. And again, I have plenty of examples of working with businesses and being told very confidently that they've assessed the risk by way of just having conversations with stakeholders that they've identified. It's so important that you're following a format, a structured plan for assessing risk. And when you do that, when you're systematically walking through a change impact assessment, that will really uncover those insidious areas of risk that you wouldn't normally identify. And it really forces you to stretch yourself when you're engaging members of the business and asking people you wouldn't necessarily normally ask about how a change or changes will impact their work area, their department, what they do day to day. So very, very important thing, change impact assessment.
Yes. So I'm curious, what books have you read, or a book that have you read on your journey that has helped you, impacted you? And it could be a business book or a life book, fiction, nonfiction. What book have you read and you would like to
I
share with us?
think so. I read this book quite a while ago, probably a decade ago, and I've been thinking about it recently, just maybe in part because of this transition to consulting, in part about the crazy 2020 we had, just I think socially and politically, and having some of that spill into 2021. Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last. And a lot of my leadership style, I think was imprinted on me by way of reading that book. And for me, I like to treat myself when I'm engaging in a business partnership as a consultant, or when I was working for a business on a permanent basis, thinking of myself in a leadership role as a servant to the people working there, a servant to the customer, and my mission being to set my direct reports, indirect reports up for success, remove roadblocks, help them grow on their career journey, help them develop, help them become better leaders, more confident in their roles. So definitely that book has helped to guide me and helped me become better at collaboration. Just again, focusing on that service role as a leader, wanting to empower others by making sure they have a voice and making sure that they're actively contributing to decision making. So a very, very impactful book, and a book I've been thinking about recently. And I probably will pick up and reread again shortly.
Hey, no, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. In terms of the entrepreneurial journey around processes, strategy, what tips or advice would you give to someone who's in the way doing their business?
A big one for me is creating a plan. I can't think of an application where creating a plan, a well thought out, meaningful plan, isn't constructive, isn't productive. So fundamentally, as a person that lives in the continuous improvement space, in the project management space, create a plan, and the more detailed, the better. And that's going to be your guiding light. And from that plan, it will allow you to keep on task. It will allow you to identify what's going to help your business grow. And the second important piece, and I've learned this just by way of living and slugging it out, partnerships, networking, talking to other entrepreneurs, not being afraid of that and not being intimidated by it. The more people you engage and bring along in the journey, the better it's going to be for you, and the more you're going to learn, and the more you're going to be able to contribute back in return.
Hey, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing.